All right, long time no video. It was a rough spring. I had a bad flu and it was just crazy. I wear these now. My hearing is going down the tube. So this is just a video about nothing in particular. Although a couple people have asked about various songs, which I'll get to. There are some Zeppelin tunes that I think aren't that. They don't really, I think, require a lot of different, ways of looking at it. But I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll make them. I would rather listen to the song a few times and kind of really get it done before just make a total half-hour's video about it. Anyway, but this is a video just to kind of make another video because I haven't really made one for a while. People have kind of, I think, wondering if I fell off the face, or a couple people have. But just a couple little things that I've been working on. Somebody did ask a question about triplets again. And again, it's so fun. Now, this is going to be a standard triplet video. Like, okay, but I'm going to teach. I really think that with triplets, I think a good coordination thing is to be able to do them as best you can both ways. And again, when I say triplet, I'm talking about the triplet that John Bonham helped popularize, like a left-right bass drum or a right-left bass drum. Okay, and then there's permutations. If you want to go, bass drum left-right or right bass drum. I mean. But for now, we'll just start with one hand on the tom and always end with the bass drum, because in the end it works out to be the same thing unless you want to practice sort of an inverted way. And then I also, too, for a couple things I've been farting around in the past month. Like up until about a month ago, I was, what was the tune? The Steve Gadd, the Paul Simon tune. 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And I like Paul Simon, and I'm a big Steve Gadd fan. But anyway, just to show you how fast I think people can learn stuff, and I'm a slow learner. In like 2 weeks, I pretty much picked up the pattern. All you got to do is kind of sit down and sort of immerse yourself in it, and then suddenly there you go. Then you just spend the rest of the time sort of perfecting the pattern, which I, of course, am in the process of perfecting the pattern. I don't play it, I think there's a little roll that he does at one of the points, which I think he does a certain way, that a lot of people sort of overlook and sort of do a really quick, like a 5-stroke roll, or a 6-stroke roll, instead of, I think he does some sort of a flam and a little roll. Anyway, neither here nor there. But just anyway, to make a video. So, and then another thing I've been working on, because I'm just sick and tired of just having, in so many facets, just absolutely shitty technique, is even though I'm not a huge, I like jazz. I'm not a huge bebop guy, though. But I have, it's dawned on me, like when I see some of these guys, like, with their super fast ride cymbal patterns. A lot of it seems to sort of stem from a molar-y type of, what do they call it? They call it a free stroke, or, which I was fortunate enough to kind of stumble upon years ago when I was in the Rock and Roll Bible. My left hand kind of does it half-assed anyway. So what I've been working on, and I think everybody should, is working on the fast ride pattern. So what John Riley does, I'll make this real fast, and then we'll move on to the triplet. But he does a thing where essentially he says, it's easier for me to let the stick go up and hold if I hold it in a German grip, because I'm so used to doing it. Again, I mean, I'm working on this. I mean, you can't just pick it up in an afternoon like, great, But I started this about a week ago. Anyway, it seems like Riley sort of does it with more of a French, in other words, a settle like this. And I notice when he does it, his wrist, his wrist really seems to drop, look like this. There's some things where people will explain to you, and this is what I do, but then they won't mention it, but you'll notice when they're doing it, you'll be like, well, that happens every time, even though they don't say it. So I've noticed that about Riley, and I've noticed that his fast ride cymbal technique is awesome. So anyway, I've been working on that. So you start, so instead of, you'll start on the 2, and then, I do it more German. So that's what he does. He throws the stick and then does a little tap and then pulls it up. And he says a good way to check it out. Check out John Riley. Just look up one of those videos. You'll see him do it. Essentially, again, he'll do it French style, and then essentially just says he's opening and closing his hand. So that's what I've been working on. And of course, trying not to do it German, because that's this way, because that's how I'm trying to throw like a half-ass molar-y thing at it, and I'm still trying to get my hands around molar. Again, that's German. He's doing it French. So I'm forcing myself for a good 20 minutes a day to pay attention to when I hit it, when I throw it. Try to really, it's actually, I find it's really good to close your eyes when you're practicing technique, because you can almost feel it better than you look at it. Anyway, it's crazy. That's what I do. So that's about the speed I'm at with it. But I'm starting to get tension there, so that's like as fast as I can do without tension. Get my hands around the technique he did. Anyway, just as a patronizing thing to all drummers, I think that's something people should check out. I think it'd be great to have the skill to right hand to do a fast jazz pattern. I think it'll come in handy around the kit. Anyway, so back to triplets. I think that when people, what happened the other night, I was looking at a couple of videos and I just stumbled upon some triplet videos, and there's a lot of folks that are teaching the video and they only teach it with the right hand. You know, but and of course, by the grace of God or whatever, I naturally lead with my left hand. I mean, it's just the way it is. But again, I said in a couple other videos, a good way to practice, you got to look at the components of that triplet. It's not rocket science, but there's different ways of looking at it. When you, essentially, it's a shuffle pattern that you're filling in with another note. So instead of throwing in the other note, obviously you're doing hand to hand, you're not doubling it. So, and break it down into its individual components. Okay? So if I'm going regular, I'll call left lead Bonham way. You're going, and a good way to break it, remember, left, right, middle. Good way to break it down is to break down to the first two bits of it. You can just practice that shuffle feel. Da, 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 da. And you'll find, if you're a lefty, most people, I think, apparently, who are right-handed, naturally lead those triplets with their right hand. I don't know why, I don't, but I also eat with my left hand. So just you'll find, I have found, in working on those triplets, which are such a big deal about Bonham's thing, plus too, it's such a great lick for minimal effort, you know, that there's always one of what I'll call the three parts, which usually trip somebody up. Somebody might be able to go, again, with the left lead. They might do this nicely. But then, when they get to the floor tom to the bass drum, they might have a hard time with that. It might be like that might be the one aspect of the three parts. Remember, here's part one, part two, part three. So break it down and you know, marry this one to this one, work on this, and then work on this. And you'll find that there's one of those which is messing you up. I would doubt two, but one. And that's the one you just spend time working on. The key is just every day, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, just making yourself just do that pattern. I mean, in addition, whatever you do, just make yourself do it. So all right, with me, okay. Let me try and not ramble so much. But specifically, I obviously have a harder time doing it the opposite way. it takes a lot. I mean, your brain's, I think, wired one way to do it. So my way of practicing, I think my weak point is... That's pretty good. I haven't done this for a while, but I just... That's a nice shuffle. So that's not what's tripping me up. If I remember, what trips me up is this. Is the one of my weak-handed leading with the right of the triumvirate of triplet evilness is going from the bass drum to the floor tom. It's a little better now. Eventually you'll have somebody that'll be like, and if you're like that, that's what you want to, in the triplet triumvirate, that's what you want to practice. And again, also for me too, I think the right left. So in a triplet you have three parts, and specifically the one I'm talking about now is the one that leads with the right hand, the non-John Bonham, more common one. Right hand, left hand. Left hand bass drum. Bass drum floor top. What you want to shoot for on each of those three components, you want to shoot for this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2, a nice. Okay? So that will help, because what makes you learn faster, what happens is people always try to practice the big picture until they get the big picture. When what is always the best way to do it is to break it down into its small components and kick each one of those ass that needs to be kicked. So again, triplet for me, because I have a harder time leading with my right. It's a lot easier now, but anyway. So here's the triplet. Da-dang, da-da-da-da-da-da. I feel some tension there, big time, especially with my left hand today. Today's it's not so bad a day. A little bit. So do that for maybe 5 minutes. I mean, you can stop, take a quick break. But concentrate, close your eyes, and make sure it sounds like, and not, or like, you want it to sound even. If it doesn't, slow it down. Okay, and I said that in another video about a shuffle. I said if you want to practice, you can practice a shuffle. Some people, I think usually people, meaning this. That's a way to, between your hands of the three, you can practice it as a shuffle. So, because if you're playing like, it's really comfortable for me to do shuffles between my hands on the snare, leading with my left. Well, that's, I think, why it's a lot easier for me to do the bottom way with the left. Sound like you want to keep the shuffle. Okay, so that again, between the hands anyway, a readily, easily way to identify it is just practice a shuffle hand-wise. So again, I'm going to assume, because I think it is pretty common, I think only 10% or 11% of the population is left-handed, which means that 89 or 90% of the population is right-handed. So I'll assume that the majority of people find it easier to do a triplet leading with the right hand. So maybe I'll just discuss it in that term. So what you want to do is, as far as that goes, you have the three parts. Remember, a shuffle. But here, you don't have to accent the second one, but 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5. And just keep going. 5 minutes a day. Okay, well, in the part, what comes next? The bass drum. snare. I gotta get this song out of my head. Yeah, do 2 minutes of that. Clock right up there. You just. The key is not just go through the motions. Is pay a little attention, close your eyes, and really make it sound like it's. If you do that at the slow, just at the comfortable speed, stuff like this really does come fast, I think. So. Okay, and then from the bass drum, again the third part, bass drum to the floor tom. How you practice it. Again, for the Bonham thing, maybe I did that backwards. So most people, maybe if they don't lead with their left, the key then, if you really want to get down the Bonham thing, even apart from Bonham Zeppelin's sake, I think it's good to be able to do a triplet either way. You know, you always want to reverse your sticking, like a parallel. You know, your sticking's reversed. Okay, but if you're doing a triplet, reverse your... It's not a bad thing to practice because it'll feed into everything else, make you a better drummer. So again, so the lefty Bonham way, which I think most left-handers would do, is... Just switch it. Which is this. Except make this, you know, you can go here. Again, you don't want it to go. You want to keep it a shuffle. Okay? And then what happens after that? Go to the bass drum. Sorry, my phone. Again, I think you'll find. Instead of saying one of those will probably be a bastard for everybody, I think one of them will be easy for everybody. Maybe one will really be a pain in the arse, and then the other one might be mediocre. Anyway, just practice each one of those pieces, especially the ones that are hard for you. Then the third part, bass drum up to the top. Again, you'll find one of those that's funky. So that's the thing about triplets. People, I know I have like 2 or 3 videos on triplets, but people always ask questions. And I think because of the nature of the way I make these things, you know, I don't address, this is probably the fullest, I think, most complete way to think about it. Okay? It's just a limb thing. You're just, you know, starting with one limb to the other to the bass drum, or one to the other, you know? So just think of it that way. Break the triplet into 3 pieces. This one to this one, 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 this one to this one to this one, and it's, they'll get a lot better. Because a lot of people, like I, for years, well, for a long time, would practice, what's the reverse? Leading with the right, which I don't do as well. But I would just, for like a minute, go, all right, well, all right, I'm going to move on, you know, and then finally it dawned on me, you know, I'd be like, all right, well, let me break it down to its components. And I saw a lot of improvement. But I must confess, I haven't really, you know, I probably should do is when I do, you know what I'll do? I'll practice real hard for the next just 30 days. What is today? I think it's the 11th of April. I'll practice. I'll do 5 minutes a day on it, and I will practice the one that most of you guys do well. Swinging. Some of them are slipping into regular 8th notes. So I got to pay attention to that. And then, of course, this was the one I think I historically always had problems with. Shuffle. Ba-da, 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 ba-da. order that you get them. There's also a feel thing, you know, because with the, I'm so used to that. There is a feel thing too. I mean, apart from just getting the order down too. I mean, and then it still sounds a little stiff. So I guess once you get, when you get to that point, once you get to the point where you can kind of go. Remember, I'm leading with my weak hand. I got it pretty good now. Then there probably comes a time you can sort of abandon doing the components. Maybe if there's a problem, keep practicing, but then just practice the triplet proper then. And there'll always be, I'm telling you, somewhere in that triplet, there's always one of those three is always it's always the one. I think it's this. I don't know. Part of the thing too, you know, part of the thing for me too is the tone. So you hear up, down. I used to suck at it. I do feel like I'm driving the car on the right side of the car in Britain, you know? So here's my weak way. My strong way. That's what I will do. I'll spend the next month leading with my week. But you do the same thing. Get those triplets down. And then what else was I asking around? Oh yeah, the Gadd thing. God love him. Seems like a really good guy. And like I said in all the comments, you'll find that Steve Gadd clip on YouTube. It's probably taken from one of his instructional DVDs. He's stoned out of his mind. I mean, he just is. God bless him. God bless America. So, but anyway, marvelous drummer. And anyway, you know, the lick is generally. Now, bear in mind, all you Gadd guys, I'm working on this. I just picked it up a month ago. Okay, I'm not pretending that. Look at how well I do it. But I'm telling you, a month ago I couldn't do it at all. So I watched the video. That one with Gadd was actually probably the most helpful. There was another couple guys that did it, but then I noticed everywhere they weren't really doing it right. Well, they were, but anyway. So the other thing I'm happy with is, I mean, I got that down, I think. But the things that Gadd seems to do a thing, and I'm going to break this down in my hair, but Gadd seems to do a thing first where he goes, like what a lot of guys do go like, I think, a 6-stroke roll. What the hell do other people do? And I don't think he does. I think he does like a flam, like. But he might lead it with the right hand. It's in that time. Ba, 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 but there's a little sort of a roll in there. Ba, 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 ba. But I don't think it's a. I don't think it is. If you listen to it, you're tempted. That is the most logical way to do it. Is the. But it sounds clean. But I think he does a thing. See, I'm rambling. I don't want to get too much of this. But where he goes. It's like. It's like that simple. I think that's probably slower. video is that it's really dawned on me in the last. I want to get a little more serious about my playing. Like I don't want to make my shaky left hand as like an excuse. Like that's why I don't do a clean buzz throw. I want to really try it. It's dawned on me that maybe part of me has felt that way. So I'm just gonna come hella high. If my arm falls off, so be it. If I got to get a robotic $7 million left arm, that's great. So I just got to sort of short my technique and follow my advice that I always tell people when I do teach lessons to kids. You just, no matter how frustrated you are, just keep doing it. It is that simple. Just, if you got to, I don't want to do it. Just make yourself for 5 minutes. Just practice that pattern. But the key is to just pay attention to it and just do it. And just get through it. Anyway, but back to that. So for me, maybe 4.5 weeks ago, I couldn't do this at all. I'd be like. I didn't know what the hell the deal was. So I thought, all right, well, I'm going to go to the video. There it is. I watched it for a little while. I sort of asked around with it for a day or two. I haven't been practicing every day because we went out of town. We went to my house. We went to Michigan for a few days, and then I wasn't feeling good. I had the flu for a while. It was crazy. Anyway, but yeah, but I've been practicing it in 35 days. And I think I'm doing a lot better. So just remember, it can be done. If I can learn this freaking Gadd thing, you can learn the Gadd thing. So, so I really want to nail down that little part. Because you'll see him do it. He's got bundles of sticks and he does it. I think it's just... Anyway, but if you want to, real fast, I'll give you my tutorial on that Gadd thing. The way it works is, you gotta, you really should watch the tutorial. I love when he does, he goes. I mean, it's awesome. God, I want that 3-foot graphics that I'm sure was sitting off to the side. This is a PG video. Anyway, so he goes. How does he break it down? So you go. The first beat is the bass drum and the hi-hat at the same time. So you go bass drum, hi-hat at the same time. Okay, that's it. That little part. Okay, that's it. 1, 2. So that's it. Just practice it. And then after that, see, so. Okay, that's what it is. Okay. So there it is. Okay. Simultaneously. So then you get this. 2 notes. The first one is the close. So it's like da-da. Okay, that follows immediately after the. So. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Okay, remember, first part. Followed by, okay, so, and then you're halfway there. What happens after that? So now I haven't analyzed it for a while, so. Okay, then so you go, okay, hang on. Gosh damn it. So then we're at the next stage. Okay, again, break it down. Hang on. Okay? I'm making the gestures because I actually, instead of rewinding the tape so many times, I think if it's exaggerated, you'll actually really be able to see exactly what I'm doing. Plus, I like making the faces. Remember, the first note you play are the bass drum and the hi-hat simultaneously. Okay? Full, hi-hat, snare. Okay, sorry. That's it. Okay, and I just wanted to make a video. A couple of people are kind of like, "Hey, are you dead? What's going on? We want to watch videos." So I hope this is somewhat helpful. I know it's kind of, I'm ADHD guy. I mean, sue me. You know what I'm saying? So I hope it's helpful. Hope you get a kick out of it. So somebody had asked about, there's two other songs maybe. Yeah, there's just some Zeppelin songs I think are straight ahead. There's some of them I'm just not big fans of. So I got to admit I'm a little lazy. Like, all right, let me go back and learn that freaking song. I mean, I love Zeppelin to death, but I was not all the, I mean, like anything, What did that guy say? In that movie, he's like, show me the most beautiful girl in the world, and I'll show you a husband who's sick and tired of spending time with her. It's just kind of like that kind of thing. So, I hope everything's cool with you crazy cats, and I hope you had a good Easter. And, shoot me some comments. Let me know if you like this video.